Ever wish you had like a roadmap to figure out life's ups and downs? You know, something to like help you make decisions that lead to like a simpler and more fulfilling life.
For sure.
Well, we're diving into some ancient Indian practices to do just that.
Wow.
We're looking at this fascinating chapter that blends ancient wisdom with modern psychology.
It's interesting how those practices like Jyotish and Vastu Shastra,
Right.
those have been around for centuries, but still offer so many insights today.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, especially since this chapter claims we can use both of those together to create a personalized plan.
Okay.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's unpack this idea of internal and external forces shaping our lives.
Right.
The chapter keeps mentioning how important it is to understand them.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about recognizing how those two things interact.
Okay.
Who we are on the inside, like our personality and beliefs and values.
Yeah.
And then the outside world, like societal norms and the economy and even the environment.
Wow.
All of those things influence our decisions, whether we realize it or not.
So it's not as simple as just setting goals and hoping for the best.
No, not really.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, think of it this way.
Okay.
Your personality, which is shaped by your genes and your upbringing and your experiences.
Yeah.
It influences how you approach challenges.
Okay.
But at the same time, external factors like societal norms, they might like nudge you towards certain careers or lifestyles.
I see what you mean. So how do we even begin to like untangle all of that?
Yeah.
This web of internal and external influences.
It does feel a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it does.
The chapter suggests starting with self-reflection.
Okay.
Just taking a step back and honestly assessing your strengths, your weaknesses, and your aspirations.
So that's where the groundwork starts.
That's where it begins, yeah.
I can see how that's important, but life is unpredictable, right? What about those curveballs that come our way no matter how much we plan?
That's where adaptability comes into play.
Okay.
Being open to changing circumstances and new opportunities.
Right.
Embracing flexibility and resilience in the face of the unexpected.
So it's like having a roadmap,
Yeah.
but being willing to like take detours.
Yes.
Or maybe even change destinations altogether.
Exactly. And that's where these tools the chapter talks about come in.
Okay.
Jyotish, Vastu Shastra, and psychological assessments. They can offer some insights into our capabilities
Okay.
and help us see potential paths forward.
Okay, now things are getting really interesting. Let's dive into these tools.
Okay.
Starting with Jyotish, which is also known as Vedic astrology.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I'm a bit fuzzy on the details.
It's an ancient Indian system
Okay.
that analyzes the influence of celestial bodies on human affairs. It might sound a bit out there at first,
A little bit, yeah.
but it's about recognizing patterns and cycles.
Wait, so are we saying that the stars can predict our future? Because that sounds a little too mystical for me.
Not exactly predict, but it's about potential insights.
Okay.
Jewish practitioners believe that analyzing a person's birth chart can reveal their strengths,
Okay.
their weaknesses, and even potential life trends.
Wow.
Imagine having a personalized roadmap
Yeah.
based on your birth chart
Okay.
that helps you navigate career choices or understand relationship patterns. That's the power of Jyotish.
Okay. That makes it a little less intimidating.
Good.
Now, the chapter mentions some pretty compelling historical examples.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the story of Chanakya guiding Chandragupta Maurya's rise to power
Right.
using Jyotish.
Yes, and remember King Vikramaditya, who supposedly used astrological insights to anticipate a famine
Whoa.
and save countless lives.
That's amazing.
It's fascinating how these ancient figures supposedly used Jyotish for large-scale planning.
Those examples are definitely thought-provoking. It makes you wonder if Jyotish could be a valuable tool even today. Not just for kings and empires, but for everyday planning.
Absolutely. It offers a unique perspective
Okay.
and can help us understand potential challenges and opportunities. But it's crucial to remember that Jyotish is not about a predetermined destiny.
Okay.
It's about gaining insights and making informed choices.
So it's more about guidance than a fixed fortune cookie prediction.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears to Vastu Shastra,
Okay.
which is all about creating harmonious living and workspaces.
I'm intrigued by this one. I've been trying to make my workspace a bit more zen.
Oh, no.
So I'm all ears.
Vastu Shastra emphasizes aligning buildings and spaces with natural energies.
Okay.
It's this ancient Indian science of architecture and design. But the goal is to promote well-being and prosperity
Right.
and even spiritual growth.
So it's more than just aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's about creating spaces that actually influence our lives in a positive way.
You got it. Vastu Shastra takes into account the 5 elements:
Okay.
earth, water, fire, air, and space. It's about spatial orientation and sacred geometry,
Right.
creating spaces where energy can flow in a way that benefits the people within them.
That's fascinating, but how does this ancient architectural system apply to planning our lives?
Think about it.
Okay.
The spaces we inhabit
Yeah.
can have a huge impact on our mood,
Right.
our productivity, and overall well-being.
That's true.
Even a simple thing like decluttering your workspace can have a huge impact
Really?
on your energy and productivity, according to Vastu principles.
You might be onto something there.
I have been feeling a bit stifled by the clutter in my office.
Interesting.
So decluttering is a Vastu principle.
It is, but like Jyotish,
Yeah.
Vastu Shastra is about using the principles as guidelines and adapting them to modern life.
Right.
No need to go building a pyramid in your backyard to get the benefits.
All right, so we've got Jyotish for understanding potential influences.
Yes. And Vastu Shastra for creating harmonious spaces.
Right.
That brings us to psychological assessments.
Okay.
How do these modern tools fit into the puzzle of planning for a simpler and more fulfilling life?
Psychological assessments are a valuable way to understand ourselves on a deeper level.
Okay.
They can help us identify our personality traits, emotional intelligence, cognitive abilities,
Yeah.
and even potential areas for growth.
Wow.
They offer a more scientific and data-driven approach to self-discovery,
Okay.
complementing the ancient wisdom of Jyotish and Vastu Shastra.
So they're like the modern day counterparts to these ancient systems.
Yeah, you could say that.
But how do they help us actually plan our lives?
Well, let's say you take a personality test
Okay.
and discover that you're highly introverted. This might help you understand why you thrive in smaller, more intimate settings,
Okay.
and why large, chaotic environments drain your energy.
Right.
That insight can inform your career choices, your social life, even how you structure your day to feel your best.
I'm starting to see the connection. If you know your strengths, you can use them to your advantage.
Absolutely.
And if you're aware of your weaknesses, you can work on them or find ways to adapt.
Exactly. Psychological assessments can also improve your decision-making and even support your mental health.
Okay.
For example, some assessments can identify potential barriers to happiness
Wow.
and recommend personalized strategies for managing stress and building resilience.
This is all incredibly insightful. But I'm curious, how do we actually put all of this knowledge into practice? It's one thing to understand ourselves,
Right.
but how do we use that understanding to create a life that is both simple and fulfilling?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it leads us to the heart of the chapter's approach to personal planning.
Okay.
It all starts with 3 key principles:
Okay.
clarity of purpose, mindful prioritization,
Okay.
and alignment with core values. These principles provide the foundation for creating a life that truly reflects who you are and what matters most to you.
Okay, now we're talking. I'm ready to get practical.
Uh-huh.
Let's unpack these principles and see how we can use them along with these ancient and modern tools to build a roadmap for a more fulfilling life.
Let's do it.
All right, so we've explored these fascinating tools for self-discovery,
Right.
Jyotish, Vastu Shastra, and psychological assessments.
Okay.
But now I'm really eager to delve into those 3 principles you mentioned.
Sure.
Clarity of purpose, mindful prioritization,
Right. Yeah.
and alignment with core values. They sound like the building blocks for actually creating a simpler and more fulfilling life.
They absolutely are.
Okay.
These principles help us move beyond simply understanding ourselves to actually using that knowledge to shape our lives.
Let's start with clarity of purpose.
Okay.
What exactly does that mean in the context of life planning?
It's about setting clear intentions and goals. It's like having a compass
Right.
that guides your decisions.
Okay.
Without it,
Yeah.
it's easy to feel lost
Right.
or like you're just going through the motions without a real sense of direction.
So it's not just about having a vague idea of what you want,
No.
but actually defining it.
Precisely.
Okay.
When you have that clarity of purpose,
Right.
you can filter opportunities and choices through that lens. You can ask yourself, does this align with my overall goals?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you can confidently let it go
Okay.
and focus your energy on what truly matters.
I see the value in that, but how do we even figure out our purpose in the first place? It feels like a big, maybe even daunting question.
It can be.
Right.
The chapter suggests introspection and asking yourself some key questions.
Okay, what kind of questions?
What are you passionate about? What brings you joy? What impact do you want to make on the world?
These questions can help you uncover your core values and aspirations.
Right.
The things that truly give your life meaning.
That makes sense. It's about getting to the heart of what drives you.
Exactly.
So once we have a better grasp of our purpose,
Okay.
where does mindful prioritization come in?
Mindful prioritization is all about being intentional with your time and energy.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that not everything is equally important and choosing to focus on activities and relationships
Yeah.
that nourish your well-being and support your goals.
So it's more than just making a to-do list and checking things off.
Yeah, it's more than that.
It's about making sure those things actually align with your bigger purpose.
Exactly. It's about asking yourself,
Right.
does spending my time on this activity bring me closer to my goal? Does it energize me or does it drain me?
Right.
It's also about prioritizing the relationships that uplift and support you.
Okay, so we identify our purpose. We prioritize activities that support it.
Right.
What about alignment with core values?
Where does that fit in?
Alignment with core values is about living authentically, making choices that reflect your deepest beliefs and principles.
So it's like putting those core values, those things you uncovered while defining your purpose,
What are these?
into action.
Yes, let's say one of your core values is honesty.
Okay.
Alignment with that value would mean striving to be truthful in your interactions, even when it's difficult or inconvenient.
Right.
And when your actions align with your values,
Yeah.
you experience a sense of inner peace and fulfillment.
Right.
It means you're not compromising who you are.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like these three principles:
Yeah.
clarity of purpose, mindful prioritization, and alignment with core values
Right.
work together to create a framework for a more intentional and fulfilling life.
They do. They're like three pillars.
Okay.
Supporting a life that is both simpler and more aligned with your true self.
I like that.
But it's important to remember that it's an ongoing process. Our goals and values can evolve over time. So we need to revisit these principles regularly
Okay.
and adjust our course as needed.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
No, it's
It's about checking in with yourself.
Right.
And making sure you're still on track.
It's like checking your compass to make sure you're heading in the right direction.
Right.
Now, the chapter takes this a step further
Okay.
and explores how we can integrate spiritual practices into this whole process.
Interesting.
It talks about things like yoga, and meditation,
Okay.
dietary choices,
Right.
even exploring different spiritual paths.
So we're not just talking about practical planning,
Right.
but also incorporating a spiritual dimension.
Yeah.
I'm curious to learn more about that.
The chapter emphasizes that our physical, mental, and spiritual selves are interconnected.
Okay.
And practices like yoga and meditation, which have been around for centuries,
Right.
can have a profound impact on our overall well-being.
Let's talk about yoga and meditation specifically. I've dabbled in both, but I'm always interested to hear more about the benefits.
Yoga, with its emphasis on mindful movement and breath, can improve flexibility, strength, and balance.
Yeah.
It's not just about the physical postures,
Right.
but also about cultivating awareness of your body and breath.
I've definitely noticed that even a few minutes of stretching can make a difference in how I feel. What about meditation?
Yeah.
How does that tie into this idea of creating a simpler and more fulfilling life?
Meditation, through techniques like mindfulness,
Right.
can help you train your mind to be more present and less reactive. It can reduce stress, improve focus, and foster emotional resilience.
It sounds like both yoga and meditation can help us navigate the challenges of modern life
Yeah,
with more grace and ease.
absolutely. And then there's the dietary guidance aspect.
Yeah.
The chapter encourages mindful eating and emphasizes choosing foods that nourish your body and mind.
So it's not about following a rigid diet,
No, not really.
but more about paying attention to what you eat.
And how it makes you feel.
Precisely. It's about listening to your body
Okay.
and making choices that support your overall well-being. And of course, it recognizes that individual dietary needs and preferences vary widely.
That makes sense. It's about finding what works best for you,
Yeah.
not following some one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
What about exploring different spiritual paths?
Okay.
What does the chapter say about that?
The chapter encourages exploration as a way to deepen self-awareness and connect with something larger than yourself.
Wow.
It emphasizes that there are many paths to spiritual growth, and it's about finding what resonates with you personally.
So it's less about dogma and more about a personal journey of self-discovery.
Yes, whether it's through meditation, prayer, spending time in nature,
Right.
or connecting with a community of like-minded individuals,
Yeah.
spiritual practices can offer a sense of purpose, meaning, and belonging.
This is all so insightful.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have from understanding the interplay of internal and external influences
Right.
to exploring ancient wisdom and modern tools for self-discovery. And we've delved into these principles of intentional living
Yeah.
and how to incorporate spiritual practices into our lives.
Right.
It's a lot to take in, but it's incredibly inspiring.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a holistic approach to life planning
Okay.
that takes into account the whole person, mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
But there's one more crucial element that the chapter highlights.
Okay, what's that?
The importance of flexibility.
Of course, flexibility.
Yeah,
Because, as we all know, life is unpredictable,
it is.
and things don't always go according to plan, no matter how carefully we map things out.
Exactly. And that's where flexibility becomes essential.
Okay.
It's about being adaptable, resilient,
Right.
and open to new possibilities.
Yeah.
Even when faced with the unexpected.
So it's about having a plan, but not being rigidly attached to it.
Yeah.
Being willing to adjust course when needed.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay.
Flexibility allows us to adapt to changing circumstances,
Right.
seize new opportunities, and even redefine our goals and values as we grow and evolve.
That makes so much sense. It's like embracing the journey and recognizing that the unexpected detours can often lead to the most rewarding experiences.
And it's about recognizing that challenges and setbacks are inevitable.
Right.
It's how we respond to those challenges that truly defines us.
So it's about resilience, that ability to bounce back from adversity, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward.
Yes, it's about cultivating a growth mindset,
Okay.
one that embraces challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. It's about recognizing that even in the face of setbacks,
Yeah.
we have the power to choose our response and shape our own narrative.
This is all so empowering. It feels like we're being given a toolkit to navigate life's complexities and create a life that is truly fulfilling. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on all of this.
What strikes me is how beautifully this chapter weaves together ancient wisdom and modern insights. It reminds us that even in today's fast-paced world,
Right.
we can draw on timeless practices and principles
Yeah.
to navigate our lives with more intention and purpose.
I agree. It's like we're being invited to tap into both our inner compass and the wisdom of the ages to create a life that is both authentic and meaningful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating blend of the ancient and the modern.
Right.
And, it's got me thinking about all the different ways we can approach life planning. It's not just one set path, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
There are so many tools and practices available.
Right.
And the key is finding what resonates with you personally.
And that brings us to the thought-provoking question
Yeah.
the chapter leaves us with, right?
Yes. It asks, how might exploring one of these specific practices,
Okay.
whether it's analyzing your birth chart, trying a Vastu principle in your home, or
Yeah.
taking a personality assessment,
Yeah.
leads you to a new understanding of yourself and a more fulfilling life path.
I love that it's like a call to action, encouraging us to take all of this knowledge and actually experiment with it.
Exactly. It's about trying things out and seeing what clicks.
Yeah.
Maybe you're drawn to the idea of exploring your birth chart through Jyotish. Or perhaps you're intrigued by the idea of decluttering your workspace,
Okay.
according to Vastu principles.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're curious about taking a personality assessment
Right?
to uncover hidden strengths and tendencies.
There are so many possibilities.
There are.
And it's exciting to think about how even small changes,
Yeah.
inspired by these ancient and modern approaches, could have a ripple effect on our lives.
That's the beauty of this approach to life planning.
Yeah.
It's not about following a rigid set of rules,
Okay.
but about using these tools and principles as a springboard
Right.
for self-discovery and personal growth.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired and ready to dive in,
Yeah.
where would you suggest they start?
I'd say start with what sparks your curiosity. What resonates most deeply with you?
Okay.
Maybe you've always been fascinated by astrology.
Yeah.
In that case, exploring Jyotish might be a great starting point.
Okay.
Or if you're feeling overwhelmed by clutter and chaos, experimenting with a Vastu principle or two
Right.
could bring a sense of calm and order to your space.
It's about choosing the tools and practices that feel most aligned with your current needs and aspirations.
Precisely. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
It's about experimentation, exploration,
Yeah.
and discovering what works best for you on your unique journey.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the art of planning for a life of simplicity and bliss,
Okay.
what's the key takeaway you hope our listeners will carry with them?
The takeaway is that we have more power than we realize to shape our own lives. By blending ancient wisdom with modern insights,
Yeah.
we can create a roadmap for a life that is both fulfilling and aligned with our authentic selves.
It's about taking that step from simply understanding ourselves
Right.
to actually putting that knowledge into action, experimenting with different tools and practices, and embracing the journey of self-discovery.
Exactly. And remember, even amidst the complexities of the modern world, we can cultivate a life filled with simplicity, purpose, and bliss.
That's a beautiful message to end on.
Thank you.
To our amazing listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring these ideas.
Yeah.
Dive into the practices that spark your curiosity, experiment with different approaches, and discover what works best for you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the art of planning for a life of simplicity and bliss.